Good morning, everybody out there in Mathland. Today we will be talking about finding the unknown measures of a particular shape, a rectangle, okay? This lesson, I warn you, could be a little tricky, so I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm doing. Pause the video when you need further time to write stuff down. You can also stop the video, rewind if you need to hear an explanation again. I want you to take your time with this lesson, okay? So what's going to happen is that they're going to give us a shape, most likely a square or rectangle, and we're going to have to figure out the missing side, either the length or the width. In order to do that, we need to remember a couple things. We need to remember that the formula for area is that area equals length times width, so you only multiply one length and one width one time. And for perimeter, that formula is P equals, parentheses, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, they are calculated different, and that's gonna be very helpful to know in order to find the missing sides, okay? So I'm actually going to start in the first page. I know it's kind of weird because I almost always skip it, but we do need to talk about these things right here. This is why. It says here, for each row of the table, use color tiles to create the rectangle described and complete the table. We actually don't need those color tiles. We can do this with division and math, okay? So if the area of a shape is 20 square units, the area, that means that the length times the width had to equal 20 when multiplied. They already tell you that one of those numbers is 5, the length. So 5 times one specific number gives me 20. 5 times what gives me 20? Oh, it's 5 times 4. So that must be 4 units. Then, when I have to do the area again, and it is 24, I know that the width is 4. So if it's area, I need to multiply the length times the width. I already know one number. So 4 times what gives me 24? That would be 4 times 6. So 6 times 4 equals 24. Now, perimeter. Perimeter is different. It's not just this number times this number is equals 20. That's not the way it works. In order to figure this out, you have to understand the perimeter is adding length and width twice, okay? You have to add them twice. So since it's twice and this is just one width and one length, let's divide this by 2, okay? So really, let's think about 10 units. So if you had to add to come up to 10, that would be 3 plus what equals 10? That would be 3 plus 7. Let me explain that drawing a little rectangle over here. If this is 3 and this is 7, then we know automatically that this side is 7 and this side is 3. When we add these all up, 7 plus 3 is 10, 10 plus 7 is 17, 17 and 3 is 20. That's how you end up with this perimeter. The reason why I made this a 10 is because they're only giving me one length and one width. It's almost like one length, one width. I have to then assume that the opposite sides are equal. So that's why I made it just 10, because there's only one length and one width instead of 2 of them. Now, last one. So perimeter is 24 units. Only one length and one width would be half of this, so 12. So 8 plus what would give me 12? That would be 8 plus 4. Now, I know this was a very quick explanation. We're going to explain it even more in detail in the next few pages, okay? Here we go. By the way, this is page 588, if you need to find it in your book. The area of a rectangle is 36 square feet. Find the length. Area. We know that area equals length times width. Only one length, only one width. And perimeter is 2 lengths and 2 widths added together. In area, it is one length and one width multiplied. There's a big difference there. So, what do we know? We know that the area of the rectangle is 36. We don't know the length, but we do know the width. So that means that something times 3 equals 36. That would be 12. So the unknown side, the length, is 12 feet. Now let's look at an example with perimeter, which is not the same thing. Perimeter is adding all the outside numbers, right? The perimeter of the rectangle is 30 centimeters. Find the width. So they know that the perimeter is 30. So P is 30 equals 2 times the length. Well, they gave me the length is 8. I'm going to put that right here. What I don't have is the width. So I know that 2 times 8 is 16, okay? And I know that 2 times something, when you add it to 16, is 30. So what do you have to add to 16 to get to 30? You have to do 14. So 2 times something must equal 14. So that W must be a 7. So the width, so 2 times the width, okay? 2 times the width equals, 1 second, give me 1 second. 2 times that width equals 14. So what times 2 equals 14? That would be 7. So the width is 7, okay? Right here. Now I could have done this in a way simpler way, if I'm honest. So I'm gonna show you what I would do. You know that the perimeter is 30, right? And you know that 2 times length was 2 times width. So if you eliminate the 2, because you're only looking at one side, eliminate the 2, you divide that 30 by 2, you get 15. So what plus what equals 15? You already know it's 8. So 8 plus what equals 15? That would be 7, okay? So that's a little bit easier to do it that way. I'm gonna show you how I would do it when I practice these problems out, okay? So find the unknown measures of the rectangle. You know that the area is 75, and you know that the formula for area is length times width. You know that the area is 75, that the length, you don't know it, times 5. So if I'm missing this factor, I should divide to find it. 5 is into 7 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. Drop the 5. 5 into 25, 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 0. 15. That means that the length of this particular thing is 15 meters. Now, perimeter. Let's do it the way easier way that I know. Sometimes the surveyor explains things a little bit easier. Because in perimeter you need 4 sides, okay? But you're only looking for 2 sides. We're gonna divide this by 2. So 42 divided by 2 is 21. Now all you have to do is to think 12 plus what equals 21. In order to do that, you can subtract 21 minus 12 to find it, right? Opposite operation. 9. So the missing side, the width, is 9 inches. And I'm going to prove to you that this works when you divide by 2. Because now, if I were to check, we know that this is 12 and this is 12. We know now that this is 9 and this is 9. If I add 12 plus 12 plus 9 plus 9, all the sides of these shape, 12 plus 12 is 24. 24 plus 9 is 33. 33 plus 9, 42. And they told us the perimeter was 42. Therefore, if I just cut this in half to know the 2 sides, I can find them by adding them together. Okay. Don't worry, I'm going to do more practice problems with you, okay? Find the unknown measure, area. So area equals length times width, right? So if the area is 50, and they told me that the width is 2, but I don't know the length, what times 2 equals 50? That would be 25. So the length is 25 millimeters, okay? Because 2 times 25 is 50. Over here, the perimeter, like I said, since I only need to know the 2 sides, I am going to divide this by 2, and I'm going to get 15. Now it's easy to say 9 plus what equals 15? That would be 9 plus 6. So the width is 6 centimeters. Okay. Area, 240 square meters. Area, as you know, is length times width. So we need to find out if this is 240 for the area and the length is 80. What times 80 equals 240? That would be 3. So the width is 3 meters because 3 times 80 is 240. Perimeter. Once again, I only need to know 2 sides, so I'm going to divide this by 2. 86 divided by 2 is 43. So 23 plus what equals 43. I can subtract them, and I would get 20. So the width is 20 yards. Oh no, fractions, whatever would I do? Not panic, that's what you're not gonna do. So perimeter, okay? So, sorry, I had something caught in my throat. So perimeter, 44 2/4 inches. Sorry again. I'm gonna divide that by 2. So, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. Alrighty. If you are going to divide this by 2, you would say half of 44. Half of 44 is 22. And if you have 2/4 and you take one of those fourths out, you only have 1/4. This is what I did. I took 2/4, right? And since the unit fractions are 1/4 plus 1/4, remember unit fractions? I'm taking one of those out. That's how I'm left with 1/4. Now, that means that 22 and 1/4 is the same as 8 and 1/4. Oh, I'm so sorry. Plus whatever the length is. So in order to find out whatever the length is, I have to subtract these two. Here's where you're not gonna panic. Since 1/4 minus 1/4, you're just eliminating all the fourths, you have no more fractions to worry about. So now it's 22 minus 8. It's 12, that's 14. So therefore the length is 14 inches. I'm gonna explain that one more time. The way I divided this in 2 is that I took half of the whole number, so half of 44 is 22. In 2/4, I thought about unit fractions. 2/4 is 1/4 plus 1/4. So I just eliminated one of the 1/4 because I'm dividing by 2, and I'm left with only one of those fourths. So then, since I did that, all I have to figure out is 8 and 1/4 plus what gives me 22 and 1/4. In order to do that, I subtracted. So I took out the 8 and 1/4. I did the fractions are gone first. Bye-bye. 1/4 minus 1/4. And then 22 minus 8 is 14. That's how I found it. Okay? Area. Length times width, right? So they told me the area is 108. They told me the width is 9. So I'm just looking for the length. What times 9 equals 108? That would be 12. So the length equals 12 feet. I knew this because I know my basic facts, 9 times 12. But you can also divide that, do long division to find out the 12. Okay. It says here, my rectangle has an area of 24 meters and the length is 2 meters longer than the width. What are the dimensions of the rectangle? Okay. So first I am going to, if the area is 24, length, width. If the area is 24, I have to think of what numbers multiplied give me 24. Well, 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. All those are all the factors of 24. These are the possible areas, but they do tell me that the length is 2 meters longer than the width, which is the only one out of these, okay, where one number is 2 more than the other. This would be 5 more, this would be 10 more, 23 more. This one, 6, is 2 more than 4. Therefore, the dimensions are 4 meters. I'm sorry, 4 meters by 6 meters, okay? We say that the width is 4 meters and that the length is 6 meters. And the reason I know that is because the length is 2 meters longer. So the length was the bigger number. Okay, the area of a square is 81 square centimeters. What is the perimeter of the square? So, oh, that looks like a rectangle. I'm gonna try that again. Because it is a square, and square have all equal sides. Let me see if I can do a better job there. Oh, that looks like a better square right there. Now, I know that the area of a square is 81. But in a square, that means that this number and this number is the same. So what two numbers that are the same number equal 81? 9, times 9, because it's a square, so they have the same measurement. So that means that each side here is 9. So in order to find the perimeter of the square, all I have to do is add up all those 9s. So for the perimeter is 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, also saying 9 times 4. So that would be 36, not square because this is an area, so centimeters. There we go. Okay, so I'm actually going to skip this problem up here, and I'm just going to do 11 and 12, and maybe 13. So here I go. The rectangular parking lot spot has an area of 220 square feet. What is the length of the longest car that can fit in that spot? In other words, they told me that the area is length times width. I know that the area is 220, and I know that the width is 10 feet. I don't know the length, but I know the width. So what times 10 equals 220? That would be 22 feet, because 10 times 22 equals 220. You can divide that out, but since I know my basic facts and the work with 0, I just kind of forgot about these zeros and saw that what times 1 equals 22. 22. That's how I did that. So the possible largest length of the longest car that could be there would be 22 feet. Okay. Number 12. You want to put a frame around the rectangular painting. The painting has a perimeter of 50 inches. How wide should the frame be? In other words, the perimeter is 50 inches. But since you only have to find one length and one width, not all 4, let's divide that by 2. So 50 divided by 2, that's 25. So 25 equals 14 plus whatever is missing. So in order to find the missing side, do the opposite operation. Let's subtract 25 minus 14. Okay, 5 take away 4, 1. 2 minus 1, 1. So 11. That means 11 inches is how wide it should be. A rectangular zoo enclosure for a red panda has a perimeter of 116 meters. The length is 50 meters. What is the area of the enclosure? Let's do a rectangle, okay? We know the perimeter is 116, okay? And we know that the length, right here, it's 50 meters. What I'm missing is the width, right? In meters, the width in meters. In order to find that, I taught you that since you're only looking for one side, cut the perimeter in half, okay? Half of 116 would be, half of 100 is 50, half of 15 is 8, so 58. So 58 equals the 50 that I know plus another number. What plus 50 equals 58? That would be 8. That means that the width is 8. Now they want the area of the enclosure. Well, since they want the area and I found that the width is 8, now it can do the formula for area, which is length times width. And I know that 50 times 8 is going to give me 400 square meters. So I actually had to find the perimeter. I actually had to use the perimeter to find the missing side and then find the area. That's a multi-step problem. I need you to rewind that and watch it again if you need to, okay? I'm actually going to skip the dig deeper for right now, just because the video is already almost 20 minutes long and then they take very long time to upload. But I can tell you, if you were wondering and want to try it on your own, that the length is 14 feet and the width is 7 feet. Okay, so the homework will be uploaded to your online math textbook for you to do. I need you to watch this video carefully. In the homework, there's actually, I leave a feature on where if you need help with the question, you can click the question mark and it'll help you solve it. Make sure that you're using that and that you are letting your parents check your homework before you submit it, okay? Alrighty, I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.